is the creator and producer of Star Trek. I met with this thoughtful, friendly man in his office at Paramount Studios. He had a lot to say about what we see on our television screens today, and of course Star Trek. Although the show was his idea, the network at first had ideas of its own.
If there is a truism in television, it is that no successful show ever gave a network exactly what it wanted. But that isn't because the networks are dopes or dunderheads. It's because of the different way an artist looks at things and the different way business people look at things. And that's as it should be. I'm sure Michelangelo had the same problem when he was doing his beautiful things.
What about the cast of the show? I'm told that NBC only wanted white males on the bridge, no women, no blacks.
When I brought in a mixed-racial crew, both the network and Desilu Studios, which had it at that time, came in saying, what are you doing? You're going to ruin us. And then when I insisted on it, then the advertisers came in, the agencies, and said, if you show this black girl as an officer dealing with white people on that basis, you're going to be barraged with hate letters, and whole areas of the country are going to refuse to handle your show. And we often forget that's how the country was then. One thing that makes me love viewers and love the audience is that we never received in 20 years one single letter of that kind.
The pilot, the original pilot, was really a lot different from the shows that we know today, wasn't it?
Yes, the original pilot even had a different captain, Jeff Hunter, was a fine actor. The only people that were in the original that stayed over was Leonard Nimoy, right, although he looked quite a bit different then, and he was not the emotionless Vulcan then. Yeah, he tended to grin and show nervousness in that first pilot.
Records show the tallest group has never been explored. Solar system similar to Earth, 11 planets. Number 4 seems to be Class M. Oxygen atmosphere.
It's hard to think about it now with all the success of Star Trek, but the original series that ran on TV was not that big a hit.
No, it was only with young-minded people. But we were quite a different United States then. One can over-intellectualize what we did on Star Trek, but we always told stories of action, adventure. There was always a want, a need, a goal, feelings, and we were the only show, for example, during all of the dreadful Vietnam affair, only dramatic show that ever talked against Vietnam. But as in the case of Jonathan Swift, we set it on another planet.
If this planet is to develop in the way it should, we must equalize both sides again. Jim, that means you're condemning this whole planet to a war that may never end. It could go on for year after year, massacre after massacre. All right, Doctor!
Kirk playing essentially the role of our presidents in those years, where he'd gotten into it and he was having trouble getting out of it. And it's a pity. Vietnam would have ended many years sooner if it had been on dramatic shows on television, because the impact of these dramatic shows. I have 2 aunts, for example, maiden aunts. If Dr. Marcus Welby had come out and said something against Vietnam, my aunts would have carried placards.
Do you remember the 20th century brush wars on the Asian continent?
It went on bloody year after bloody year.
Well, what would you have suggested? The only solution is what happened back then. Balance of power.
Mass communications is our language today between one another. And we can't say, well, let's not really talk about anything serious on television. That is a criminal statement and a criminal intention. In my opinion, the audience is way ahead of our government leaders. I think the government leaders should catch up with the audience, and then we'd have 21st century dreams right now.
Many such journeys are possible. Let me be your gateway.
Captain, the Enterprise is up there. They're asking if we want to beam up.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Gene Roddenberry, a very creative and very nice man.